What it do, party people?
Yep.
I was on Twitter earlier, and there's this guy, Brandon. I'm gonna fuck up the last name, but I'll try to get it right. Brandon Wardell, or something like that. And he just says, like incoherent shit that's really funny. And
Is he famous?
He's like Twitter famous slightly.
Oh, okay.
Like he's got, I don't know, maybe 200,000 followers or something. And he tweeted like extremely Nickelback voice, and then it said, "Look at my dick and ass," and then and so you can't help but go in your mind, because you know how Nickelback sounds. Look at my dick and ass.
Yeah.
And that's been in my head all day now.
It's weird how your fucking mind takes over like that when someone's like, read this in Trump's voice or something like that, and you read it, or not like Trump, but like when something's a particular voice and you read it in that voice. I think like Samuel L. Jackson, you read shit in his voice.
Why are there motherfucking snakes on my motherfucking plane?
Yeah. It's like, read this in Samuel L. Jackson's voice. Or I think, how does it do it? They put a picture of maybe just Samuel L. Jackson, you automatically read it in his voice?
It depends. Like with Trump, I don't even think you need the picture. I mean, if you do it with the picture, then it's clear that you're doing Trump. But even if you didn't do it with the picture, I could pick up on a Trump like sentence structure from a mile away.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. Imran Siddiqui, who I follow, who's very funny on Twitter, he just did it. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna tell you exactly what his exact tweet was. But you know, Trump is visiting.
Yeah, man. Shout out to fucking cockface Joel Osteen. That's all I've been reading about.
Oh, we'll talk about that in just a second. But I want to give you what he said. So Trump is visiting Houston. And in the midst of the horrendous,
that shit is wild, man.
It's
like beyond wild. Like
it's Katrina level bad. I mean,
it's that bad, right? Like,
certainly. But there's a picture of Trump at the talking to like a group of people inside or something, and he's doing a typical Trump pose, like like in the middle of a sentence, and Imran put in quotes, "We're going to get it to stop raining, and the dryness process is going to be unbelievable."
The dryness process? Like, what are you going to fucking take a
he didn't actually say that. To be fair to Donald Trump, he didn't actually say
didn't?
that. But that's my point, is that it seems like something he'd definitely say. Like,
yeah, I thought he said that shit.
The dryness process is going to be unbelievable. Believe me, I have to tell you.
Sounds like some shit he would say.
Oh, 100%. Okay, but yeah, now, Joel Osteen. Okay, so here's the deal. I saw it on Twitter too. Everybody was going nuts. Oh my God, he's not letting people in. And it looks like at first, they didn't. Like his church posted something on Facebook, like we're closed due to excessive flooding or something. And then everybody and their mother like opened up their ass cheeks and started shitting on their face, and were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? You're supposed to be like this super Jesus-y guy, and here you are like turning away people in their moment of need." But then like that, like 3 hours later, it was opened up, and not only was it opened up, the thing that
they opened it up.
Yeah, not only did they open it up, but the thing that threw me for a loop was they had like a whole bunch of beds, like air mattresses that they were filling up like the whole thing with. And so I was thinking, there's no way like they ordered those air mattresses and they came there in 3 hours. So I think people may have jumped the gun and assumed, because I had when I saw all everybody going in, I was like, and I saw a bunch of articles about it. I favorited one on Twitter, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this story on my show.
Yeah.
And then by the time I was actually prepping for my show, which was like 3 hours later, it was already not like they had already opened it up.
Oh,
and my thing is, I don't think they like shut it down, ordered the air mattresses. The air mattresses got there in 3 minutes or 3 hours, and then they opened it up.
Amazon Prime that shit.
So I think that, to be fair to them, I think they were going to do it the entire time. But that's the thing, like there are so many of those kinds of pastors who wouldn't do that shit.
Yeah.
Like,
but fuck him. Did he donate any fucking money? I mean, like, not that we know.
I have no idea. But that's the thing that I was a little surprised by reading my timeline, is that like Joel Osteen, as far as like the televangelist assholes go, he's the least assholey of the assholes. Because like all the other, like I'll give some examples. Like Pat Robertson, like his whole thing is I'm a right wing douchebag. John Hagee, right wing douchebag.
There was that one guy
Jerry
who
Falwell.
came out and said he wanted to buy a private jet or something, right?
Yes, well, I covered that guy. I don't know that guy's name, but I did cover that guy on the show. So like, they're the ones that are like explicitly evangelical Christian right wing are the worst. Joel Osteen sucks too, but he's a lesser level of suck because he does what's called the prosperity gospel, which is this idea that Jesus wants you to be rich and be prosperous, and like it's like a self-help guru wrapped into Christianity. You know what I mean? It's like a capitalism version of Christianity, which is still stupid as a motherfucker, and is still like he's still scamming the fuck out of everybody. But it's not as bad as like John Hagee or Pat Robertson, who are like the right wing. Like, I don't think John Hagee or Pat Robertson would open up their doors in a situation like this, whereas Joel Osteen did. You see what I'm saying?
But let me it's fucking hypothetical. It's tough to say, but if like a fucking group of homeless people sort of stumbled by his house, like his house.
Oh, I saw that thing on Twitter. Damn.
Oh, was there something on Twitter?
Oh, of Joel Osteen's house? It was ridiculously big. Yeah, huge.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he lives in a fucking crazy ass mansion, but like, if a group of fucking homeless people somehow like stumbled upon his front door and were like, "Hey man, like please, like the storm's crazy out here. Can we come inside and like all chill on your couches?" That motherfucker would not let anybody in his shit.
Okay, he probably wouldn't, but we don't know that. I could say with certainty that Pat Robertson would say no. I'm 100% sure he'd say no. I'm 100% sure John Hagee would say no. Joel Osteen, 50-50.
Let's give him the fucking benefit of not doubt and say that.
Don't give him shit. I just don't know, but it looks like people may have jumped the gun a little bit on Joel Osteen, and that's not me defending him because that guy, like I said, he's still like a scam artist.
But they still haven't posted any pictures of of people inside that mega shit where he's at. I mean,
I don't know. There might be now. There might be. I know that there were the pictures coming out of there with the air mattresses that were being blown up, and
oh really?
And the church claims we don't know what you're talking about. The doors have been open the whole time, and anybody could come.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I saw the Facebook post that launched this, where everybody was getting mad because the Facebook post was pretty clearly we're closed because of excessive flooding. So I don't know what happened. Like, oh, we're closed because of excessive flooding, and then literally a few hours later, not only are they open, but they got fucking air mattresses everywhere. So I'm like, I don't know. But I was going to cover it. I was going to cover the story, but then when I saw it wasn't totally accurate, I was like, I can't cover this.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be a tough thing, too, at this point, to not open your doors. You know, especially with all the fucking backlash shit taken.
With Joel Osteen, like, I think he went on Fox News one time, and, like, they tried to get him to say, like, right-wing shit, and he wouldn't do it. Like, he was like, because he wants to be like a bipartisan kind of guy. Like, again, what he preaches is bullshit because it's like God wants you to be rich type garbage, you know?
So it's sort of like is okay for him to boast his richness because it's like, no, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, he ties it into, and he like, again, it's kind of like a self-help, you know, those self-help gurus who are like, we'll make you rich and like, and, you know, these are the things you have to learn for self-empowerment. You have to learn responsibility, and you have to learn this, this, and this. So it's kind of like this, I don't know, benign to somewhat fucked up approach, but he kind of wears it on his sleeves. But he leaves alone, like the gay rights issues and stuff. Like, he's not one to be like, he's not anti-gay. Like, he doesn't ever talk about social issues in a negative way. You know what I mean? But then again, he doesn't talk about it in a positive way either. So it's like, he almost just sidesteps it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's more of like just like a corporate of that like type of dude.
The prosperity gospel they call it. The other one,
if there is a good one of those fucking weirdos, he'd be one of them.
Yeah, it's as good as you get among the charlatan televangelists. Is my point?
Exactly.
Like they're all bad, but he's as good as you get among those assholes. But then again, there's some fucking awesome Christians out there who like are really doing the shit like you're supposed to do, trying to follow Jesus, the happy parts of the New Testament, where they're like helping fucking poor people all the time, and they're going on, you know, there are people who, so to almost say he's good is disrespectful to those actually good people, you know what I'm saying? He's just like this middle ground kind of guy.
I feel like Tim Tebow is one of those people who are very good. I'm such a fan of Tebow.
I thought he was a dick. I don't know.
No, man. Tebow's like...
You sure he's not anti-gay? I feel like there might have been a story about him being anti-gay or some shit.
No.
No? You sure?
I hope not. I mean, I don't know for a fact. I don't think so, though. I think he's pretty, like... He's normal where he understands it and gets it.
whatever happened to him with what sport was he trying to do after?
He's doing baseball. He's killing it.
And he's doing well.
Yeah, man.
That's hard, man. Yeah, I give him credit.
There's
he's minor league right now.
Yeah, he's minor league for the Mets, in one of their farm clubs.
Okay.
But there's also the way that the media portrays you. You could be on their good side or you could be on their bad side.
That's
and
true.
he's one of those dudes that he does hit timely home runs. He hits walk-off home runs and shit like that. But they cover a lot of his home runs. I don't see a lot of his strikeouts.
Yeah.
So they want to paint him in a good light. But I think his stats, he's doing really well.
Well, if you can make it to minor leagues of any sport when you were in a different sport, that's crazy good. Remember I gave Steph Curry shit, and I said, I guarantee you he doesn't make the cut at that web.com event, but he went 74-74. He missed the cut, but he put up some respectable fucking numbers.
Yeah.
So if Tebow's actually playing in the minor leagues...
And he's hitting home runs and doing,
impressive.
what you're supposed to do, yeah.
That's very impressive.
He had one video he was signing, he signs autographs for all the fans, and he had one, and some kid in the stands was like, Tim, can you say hi to my grandma? She's 98 years old, and he said the grandma's name. Tebow looks up and he's like, hi, blah, 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 hope you're having a blessed day, just wanted to say keep going strong and some shit. And then the viral video was they cut to some grandma in her retirement home. She looked so old and looked like she had no idea who Tim Tebow was, but she was her face was she was like, that's so cool. And I was just they probably picked some random ass old lady just to make a cool video for Tebow, but it supposedly was really her. It was a fucking dope video.
That's nice of him to do that. There are some
jerk
people
like Steve Harvey.
Oh, Steve Harvey's notoriously douchey. Which sucks. I actually liked him. We spoke about this recently. I liked him. Of the kings of comedy guys, him and Cedric were my favorite. But he's a douche. Yeah. He's don't make eye contact with me. Don't talk to me. Don't do this. Don't do that. But you really got to give it up to the ones who are... some people would argue, you know what, if you're an athlete, that's part of your fucking job. You got to talk to the fans. You got to be nice to the fans and everything. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I still have a lot of respect for the people who... do that and do it well, because it's not easy when you're on 24/7. When you're because anytime those people are seen publicly, it's at one of their events, and when they're in the spotlight, and when everybody you're around wants a piece of your time and wants a moment with you, it's hard to balance all that and then also focus on the thing that you came here to do. Yeah. So it is,
to be, I feel if, you with your show, if you were so locked into your notes and you had people coming in telling you, hey, Kyle, we're going to have to do this at this point of the show or this, you'd be nope, everybody stop talking to me 10 minutes before the show. Or do you think you'd be okay with people coming in?
It's rough. Okay, so.
You want to be laser locked fucking focused.
I think this guy named Lee from The Intercept, the website The Intercept, made a really good point. He's people who actually seem to care about social and political and economic change, who he's met. So all the politicians who are actually committed to doing something, and they're not soulless fucking creeps who've been bought by corporate America. He said they're almost across the board socially awkward. So when you talk to them in person, it's it's not what you'd expect. They're kind of quiet and to themselves and more reserved than you would expect when you see them. When you see Bernie Sanders railing on TV, talking about, the 1%, and he's really cares about these issues, and it's oh, that guy seems like he's really down to earth and cool to hang out with, according to Lee. And I don't know if he was thinking about Bernie in this, but no, a lot of these people, you meet them and you're whoa, it's almost like they're a little antisocial and kind of weird and stuff.
Yep, I can see that.
I feel that's at least partly me, what we do here is what we do here. We're talking to each other, this is what we're here to do. And when I'm doing my show, that's what I'm there to do. And it just so happens to be a thing where I have to come across clear and outgoing and extroverted and all that stuff. And certainly when I'm off, I'm not as fired up and stuff. So I would almost undoubtedly come across a little bit more reserved and a little more socially awkward in person. And I just think I am socially awkward in person. But then again, like, I think it would depend on who you talk to. I think if you talk to some people, hey, what's Kyle like off camera? They would say, oh, he's exactly how he is on camera. And then other people, you talk to them, and they're like, oh, no, he's more quiet and he's not on type thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And some people might say, look, if you ask individuals, some people on Twitter, they'll be like, Kyle's the biggest douche in the world. I tweeted him like a question where I was, I don't know, genuinely inquiring about something, and he fucking tweeted back and called me a prick and did whatever. And like, he's an asshole. I don't like him. And then somebody else might say, oh, no, he's really cool. Like, he responded, and we flowed a little bit or whatever. So I think it's just highly subjective. But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how. It's hard for me to look at myself through the eyes of other people when they've only had limited experiences with me, and I'm me. I've lived my whole life as me. So I feel like sometimes I'm more outgoing and extroverted. Other times I'm more socially awkward and introverted. And so I don't really know the answer to that question. I think it would be difficult for me in a situation like those athletes are in to always be willing to give a lot of your time to everybody around you, because it requires a concerted effort to do that. And I feel like it's so much easier for people like that to say, look, my job, I'm here to play baseball, or I'm here to do whatever. And like, this is all that other stuff is just noise. It's extra. So I'm here to do that. I'm locked in to do that. And I don't feel bad if I go right from, playing to the fucking locker room and I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't even want to give the media a comment. You know what I mean? Because I feel like they're well within their rights to do that. Because another argument...
But then in a sense, they owe it to the fans, too, or
I don't know, but the argument they would make is, look, man, okay, so people like looking at what I do for a living because I'm a professional athlete, okay? But don't get it twisted. What I'm actually doing for a living is the act of being a professional athlete. Just because people don't like watching, what accountants do for a living, If reporters were all of a sudden interested in what accountants were doing, and the accountant said, I don't want to talk to you today, Mr. Whatever from CNBC, would anybody be like, what an asshole that guy is? No, they'd be like, he's just an accountant doing his fucking job. Well, I'm just a baseball player doing my job. I don't want to bother with that other stuff. You see what I'm saying? But then I don't know. I'm just trying to give you what they would say. I don't know if I believe that, because it's almost like if they were raised from the beginning to understand that maybe that other thing is also part of your job when you're a professional athlete, then they would soften and be more cool with it. Like, I feel like a lot of the people who are more open with the fans and easygoing and stuff, it's almost like they went into it knowing, like,
There's
supposed to do this.
This
is like a big thing. But it's not that common, though. I mean, look, guys like Arnold Palmer, like, he was great with the fans and everything, but that's what made him Arnold Palmer, is like, he's like the only one who did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm sure that's the case with all these other sports too. There's a lot of people who are very short with the media and short with the fans.
Jordan was short with the media. Westbrook is an asshole sometimes.
Yeah. You know firsthand about a lot of these basketball players too, because you worked where you knew them.
Yeah, or I mean, every day getting asked the same questions is, sort of annoying too. You don't want to answer the same bullshit.
Yeah.
So I could see both sides of it. I mean, whatever. Sorry if I got the sniffles. I was gonna tell you.
Doing coke before the show again.
I was doing coke before the show again. I was back home for the weekend real quick, and there's this closet downstairs that has all his clothes in it, and for some reason, whenever I pull out like a shirt out, it's got this musty fucking smell to it, and I always get sick when I fucking put it on or smell it. And for the last 2 days, I've just been fucking sniffling and sneezing.
Oh, maybe it's like mold or something.
It has to be something, because it fucks me up for a while.
Yeah,
it's crazy that just the smell of it, like one sniff, and I'm done.
Yeah, maybe it is mold, because there's that musty smell is like a hint at that.
Hell yeah. You ever notice that fucking, everyone has a scent to them?
I don't think I have.
No?
No, I don't. I haven't taken note of it. I'm sure if I literally went up to people and started sniffing their arm, I'd be like,
I guess so.
You smell a little different than Bob.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes I can, if I were to, I could be next to you and be like, all right, that's Kyle's smell. Or as there's someone. Yeah, I feel like people have distinctive smells. I don't know,
Cheez-Its and fucking an ass.
I don't know. It's hard to explain that shit. I don't know. I,
My sorry, were you gonna finish or
no,
want
I
me to
just
go?
feel like I know like what people fucking like what they smell like someone not.
But
like,
you're
I could
talking
be
like if I use a cologne, or you just saying in general if I didn't
I think
wear
in
it?
general you have like a
Really?
smell to you. Yeah,
Maybe
I
it's
think
like
everyone has like a shit
well,
like that
maybe it's like
they smell.
you're getting a whiff of like the remnants of whatever body wash or soap they use or some shit or
Maybe.
shampoo. Maybe it's
Yeah,
that.
could be that.
Maybe, or it could be a legit scent. But I figured, I would hope that I'm clean enough where you're not just smelling my fucking
No, it's not like
body.
fucking body odor, like bad smell. It's just
Yeah, just
like
an odor.
yeah,
Yeah, so like McDonald's or some shit coming
yeah.
out of my pores. So I was there's somebody who did some like contracting work for me, who was telling me a story about how he did contracting work where way back where I used to live, where I was growing up, and like in that complex there was a house where he did work for this older lady who was like notoriously stingy, and she would always try to like not pay or like say, oh, I already paid you, or come up with some bullshit fucking excuse. And he was telling a story about how she was forced because there was an issue that she had, so she had to have like the city come and look at it, and it was a mold issue, and so she had to pay for the person to come and test it to see if it's mold, and they said, yeah, it is. She paid like $500 or whatever the fuck it was, and she was like, that shit was expensive. I'm mad I had to do that. But then when they came back positive, like, yeah, you have mold, and the contractor was there, she was like, no, paint over it. He's like, you have mold. Like, what, are you crazy? She's like, yeah, no, I've already spent $500. I didn't want to spend it. Paint over it. I'm not spending like another $500 or $1,000 to get rid of this stuff. I just paint over it. He was like, you
can't.
What? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And so he's like, look, I'm going to warn you one more time. Like, you really need to, like, get rid of this. She's like, yeah, no, paint over it. He was like, all right. So painted over it.
I feel like that dude could get in trouble for not like removing the mold or something.
Maybe.
He doesn't give
I don't
a
know,
fuck.
maybe, but I think the ultimate responsibility is with her, though.
Yeah.
It's like, if he were to do it and let's say it's $1,000 worth of materials and labor, what's he going to do? He's doing it out of charity? No, he has to get paid for it.
Yeah.
Even if it's just the materials and you say, okay, you're just doing the painting out of the kindness of your heart, but she's got to at least pay for the materials.
Yeah.
So anyway, like he always did work for her. So they were like 4 years later, he had to go over there. He said he went down into the basement. The smell hit him like a fucking ton of bricks. Just like walking into a wall of stench. It smelled like, that basement smell, the real fucking musty water. Yeah, he was like, is that times a million? And then he said he walked down there. Paint was literally falling off the walls. He said the wall
So the
fell
mold like
off
spread and all that shit?
What? Not only did it spread, apparently what happened was all the way upstairs, there was a leak. The leak was going down from the top, from all the way upstairs, down to the main floor, the second floor, into the basement. So that whole fucking side of the house had mold. It was black mold, which is fucking deadly, son.
Damn.
That shit is deadly.
So fucking $500 back then probably turned into about like $5,000.
Oh, that shit
fix the work now.
Probably is. It probably is.
Damn.
But can you imagine? Like, no, I'm good. Get rid of it. Like, do you understand that this shit, especially black mold, like that shit can fucking kill you? You're breathing in those fucking spores day in, day out.
Yeah, it's crazy the shit you don't know what you're fucking breathing in. What is asbestos is some other shit, right? If you paint, you don't know.
Okay, so here's how crazy that shit is. Dude, they used to make houses and use that as, I think it was insulation. Like, you know how, okay, to keep the house warm, you got to put, like, the fucking foamy shit in the walls and stuff?
Uh-huh.
They use that, but I think it was asbestos was what they used. And then come to find out years later, like, oh, yeah, that shit is actually really deadly. They're like, oh, our bad. That shit kills you. It's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? You guys did this whole shit, put it up everywhere, and then now you realize it? And apparently it's not a problem unless you start breaking it up. See, that's what happens. So, like, let's say somebody goes to do some renovation or something, and they got asbestos. Well, you start breaking that shit up, you breathe it into your lungs, and you get sick. So
that shit.
I mean, that's the crazy... And we're dealing with this shit, to go back to Houston, what's happening in Houston and in Texas. They're dealing with this shit right now. Like, they have these petrochemical facilities there that they're like, oh, yeah, whenever we have to shut them down because of, like, an emergency or something, whenever you fire them back up, it releases, like, an ungodly amount of pollution and toxic chemicals into the air. And now people are there... and they're breathing it in, they have nowhere to go because everywhere's flooded around them. So they're in this concentrated little area, and these chemical facilities are pumping out toxic fucking chemicals. They say it smells like burnt rubber all day. And they're breathing in these fucking deadly chemicals. Human beings are crazy. We do shit, and then after the fact, we're like, oh, that could kill us.
That's what happened with the whole 9/11 thing. Like, people were breathing in the shit from the buildings, you know? And
oh, that's
back
true.
then,
the deadly, all the people who were the first responders, everybody dying of cancer, dying from emphysema, and it was just from breathing in that dust, that fine particulate dust.
Fucking, the craziest shit I saw was, like, Jon Stewart had all those people on. Mm-hmm. And then do you remember he did, like, a follow-up show and had the same setup on his thing? And he was just like, this person passed away, this person passed away. It was like... fucking crazy.
And the government was trying to not pay for their health care.
Yeah.
After they saved people's lives on 9/11.
That Houston shit is wild, though, man. Like, it's crazy, you know, I mean, because I'm not there, so you don't really actually, like, know what's going on. But, like, all those pictures and just...
people's lives just ruined. People's lives just ruined. Can you imagine? And then the insurance companies, just like with Hurricane Sandy in New York... insurance companies just try to fuck people out of paying for their fucking what they have to pay for. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is what happens all the time.
A lot of people didn't have water insurance or something. No, there?
People usually have insurance, but they always try to find ways to wiggle out of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, but it was a flood. Like they say, I was reading the other day. There was like, you know, if you have damage from the hurricane, okay, but if you have flooding from the hurricane, that doesn't count. It's like, what the fuck are you talking? This is what happens when you have fucking for-profit insurance companies. Is they're going to try to find a way to weasel out of paying for that shit. And it's fucked up. These people, they didn't do anything wrong through no fault of their own. And then they lose their house. They lose everything. And then they're going to have to go through an antiquated, old, dumb system that's trying to fuck them in the ass and screw them out of what they're supposed to get. I mean, this is terrible, man. And yeah, the pictures are just, oh my God. Have you seen
There's that one picture of
before and after ones?
I haven't seen before and after. I saw the old age home one.
Yeah. I thought that picture was fake when I first saw it. I'm like, that shit is fake.
100%. I don't get how they're just fucking chilling in the water like that.
Well, apparently so the rescuers were coming and they were there and they had, everywhere was like that. Everywhere was like that. So what are you going to do? You got to fucking be there.
That's fucking crazy.
I know. And I was like, that shit is fake, 100%. And then, you know, it wasn't. There was the article. There was people went into detail explaining what happened. I was like, oh my God, that's not a fake picture?
That picture was wild. I've seen, I saw one news report where there was a tractor trailer and the lady was doing a newscast and she looked over and there was like a semi truck. And the guy was stuck in the semi-truck, and she flagged down some cop to come and just get the guy out.
Yeah, saved his life.
Saved the dude's life. Like,
I saw so it was a CNN news guy on like a little boat, and there was like one or two people with him or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they had seen somebody like, I don't know, on some makeshift boat or whatever. And they were like, oh, you got to get my parents. They're still back there in the house. So they go and they open the door and there's this guy, I swear to God, man, like an 85-year-old or 90-year-old man, like up to here in water. Like he's got like a hunchback. Like it looks like he has no clue what's going on. Where he's like traumatized and they're helping him on the boat. And I'm like, that's that dude's house.
Yeah.
He's walking out of his house and the fucking water's 4 feet high. Like, what? And then his wife, who's also older, she apparently has Alzheimer's, and they're like, which complicated the situation, and they're trying to explain to her, like, okay, we have to go because it's, you know, look what's going on here and stuff, and it's like,
there's not even anything you can do. Like, what do you even do? Like, I'm trying to think about that. Like, I mean, like,
how to prevent shit like this?
Well, yeah, I guess that too.
You have to build a better infrastructure and better drainage I just retweeted the article earlier. People could check it out if they want. That it's apparently a Depression era like infrastructure and drainage system there, and it just is totally unprepared for stuff like this. And it's like, okay, but now because of climate change, we don't have a choice. You have to expect the unexpected. Yeah. So like New Orleans is like below sea level. It's like, well, hold on now.
New Orleans is
They're already below sea level, and then the sea levels are going to rise like a lot. So we got to start drawing up plans, son. Like you got to fucking, all systems go. Like this isn't like an open question. Oh, should we do? No, we're going to have these kinds of storms on a regular basis now.
So it's the storm is bad, but then also the way like you're saying, their infrastructure is set up makes it even worse. Because like the storm happens, but then there's the aftermath of everything leaking in and leaking on to fucking.
It's a mix of everything.
Cause the flooding.
It's the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Because you have, even with Katrina was a similar thing. I think the levees broke.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, the storm itself is bad enough. But then the fact that we're totally unprepared from an infrastructure perspective, like you have to rebuild the infrastructure. So do a new deal, like FDR's old New Deal, where they built the infrastructure all around the country. You have to do a new deal, and in doing that, everything needs to be prepared, needs to be prepped for the worst case scenario. Like the standard, whatever you do should be like, even if we get a storm like Harvey that comes through again. Don't worry, we're going to be all right because the infrastructure's set.
Yeah.
Because look at all those fucking people, man. All those people lost their houses.
Yeah.
All those people lost their fucking lives. Like the
it's
amount.
Like even all the money getting raised, it's like that will never be enough to fucking. And like, how does?
Yeah,
because like JJ Watt's raising all this money. How does a regular family gonna fucking benefit from that? Are they gonna just get a check or something like that?
Well, it's all going right. It's all going right now to like immediate, food, water, shit like that. But yeah, that's the problem, right? Is that like in the long run, what are you gonna do? You're gonna rebuild where this shit just went underwater? Like so, then in another 100 years, that shit could happen again.
Oh, that shit, yeah.
So what are we doing? Same thing with New Orleans. Oh, you're gonna rebuild like right here, where like what? No, we have to find a way to beef up the infrastructure and have better drainage and like invest in that right now so that if we rebuild here, you're not taking a fucking gamble and a risk. Because right now that's what's happening. And I had no idea so the problem is Houston didn't even have an evacuation order. But you had Hurricane Harvey and you had a storm surge, and then on top of that you had this literally a historic amount of rain. It rained fucking 50 inches in like a week.
They were just bracing for it? There was no fucking like, you got to be out by Friday or some shit because the storm's hitting?
I think they got the forecast maybe, a day, 2 days before, and it apparently...
that's how I sort of heard about it, was just like, oh, there's this big hurricane about to hit like Texas tomorrow. And I was like, oh, usually you fucking hear about those shits like starting out in the water and it could make landfall and people prepare and board up their houses.
Right, so they did have a mandatory evacuation for certain places. Like everywhere on the coast was mandatory evacuated.
Oh, okay.
Because those motherfuckers were getting hit with gusts of like 150 miles an hour.
That's
like
crazy.
That shit was like a hurricane. Like, okay, we're out. We don't have a choice. So those are the places where like the houses would get demolished even by the wind. You know what I'm saying? So those ones were evacuated. But I don't know what they thought. I don't know if they thought Houston was far enough inland where... that's probably what they thought, that Houston's far enough inland where
it'll die down a little bit.
You're not going to get the winds. Maybe you'll get tropical storm level winds. That's probably what they were thinking. But they weren't thinking that they're going to get the fucking 50 inches of rain. Because the rain is the thing that really did everybody in. The rain is the one that the flooding is the worst ever.
Yeah.
We're talking about this is totally unprecedented.
You would think when Katrina happened, or like now, states would be doing fucking like evaluations of themselves. Like, hey, are we in the line where if this were to happen to us, or and start fucking checking that shit.
Well, here comes the partisan portion of the conversation. Obama signed an executive order that said we need to make things flood proof, and Trump a few weeks before got rid of that executive order. So this is what happens. This is what happens. You get Democratic administrations that are like, okay, let's be somewhat responsible. Like, and these guys are still, like, it's not like they're good. It's not like, the Democrats are great. No, it's like they're just doing the bare minimum. And then, like, the Republicans go in and go, no, I don't even want to do the bare minimum. Let's get rid of it. It's like, what? So what do you want to do? Like, you just want to fucking roll the dice here? They're like, yes, let's just roll the dice. That's not going to happen. Climate change is a Chinese hoax. Not going to happen. And then
he has the fucking
Houston's
balls
gone.
to show up in Texas, though. Like, how do people still fucking go out and see him? Or he goes to a spot. Yeah, he goes to a spot where they can't leave, right?
He goes to a place, I don't know if you saw this earlier, where there are hurricane victims who are fucking standing out there. He's like 30 yards away from him. He gets on a car. He's holding a microphone.
Or something, right?
I don't know where he was, but he looked like he was on the street or something. Mm-hmm. He grabs a mic, gets up, and starts talking. He's like, unbelievable. What an amazing crowd. What a great turnout. You're fucking talking about the size of the crowd, you loathsome idiot. Like, people are fucking in trouble, and you're talking about that.
I couldn't see when Melania was wearing the high heel boots.
People went in on her for that.
Or the high heels.
Yeah.
It's just common sense. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, and then
throw on some sneakers.
The White House responded to criticisms by saying, we would hope people would focus on more serious issues than the high heels in this time of need. And it's like, yeah, but hey, that's actually what those people are saying. Is that, like, why are you wearing high heels? Like,
it's just such
why
a
do
disconnect.
you care about how you look in this time of... That's the point. Like, they're making the point that you're trying to flip back on them. You know?
Yeah. It's fucking... They're so disconnected from the people. And I mean, again, who knows how they're portraying it, but when Katrina happened, I don't know why I can't say that word.
I have certain words that are like that, too, where I can't say them.
Obama was like hugging people and on the streets, actually consoling people.
It wasn't Katrina. It was like a tornado. Katrina was under Bush.
Oh, okay. So yes, some other shit they showed him hugging people or something. I can't picture Trump hugging some dude, some random dude.
It wouldn't look as for Obama. It looked kind of normal. Like he actually, would be like, oh,
genuinely,
Whereas
felt
with
bad.
Trump, it's like, do I have to touch one of the peasants?
Yeah,
I don't want to get near their garments.
And there's that picture of him hugging that little girl, like the black girl, and she's like making a face.
Oh yeah, that was legendary. I love that.
It's just, every time he has to interact with like a normal person, like a fucking regular day person, it's so awkward.
Yeah, I mean, but not to. This is the one area where I'll defend him. I'm awkward too, so it's not like I can't get on him for that. I'm not the president. I mean, that's true.
I guess he's never had normal interactions with just a regular Joe Schmo that he can't. I saw one where
he always reverts it to himself. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He'll always, no matter what the issue is, he'll always come right back to tremendous crowds, unbelievable crowds.
Yeah.
Like he has to make it about ratings or make it about himself, or that's his issue. Mother Nature's a bitch, man. I mean,
it is
really disheartening to see everything that was going on. The
Houston Astros were supposed to play a series at their stadium against like the Texas Rangers or something like that. And basically, all they wanted to do was swap. So they play the Texas Rangers. I guess it was like whenever soon, maybe this week, and then they play them again towards the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And that series at the end of the season was in Texas at Texas of Arlington, their stadium. So they just wanted to swap series. And the Texas Rangers said no. They wanted to play in Texas this week, because it's all, I guess it's good in Arlington, and have it be the Astros home game. And then at the end of the season, play in Houston and have the Texas Rangers be the home team or some shit. And they're like, no, we don't want to do that.
Why? Why'd they do that?
They said because at the end of the season, well, one reason was because they didn't want short notice for fans that had tickets in September to now say, hey, you have to go to the game this week or something like that, which is a bullshit excuse. And then at the end of the season, they would have played like 4 of 5 road series or something like that. So it could be like,
so
they're going toward the playoffs and being on the road for a while.
What happened with those games now? They're
playing
canceled?
in Tampa Bay.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, so it was basically like instead of let's play in Texas and have that Texas pride, maybe some fans from
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
let's go to Tampa Bay. What the
let's
fuck?
go to Tampa Bay. It's so fucked up.
That is pretty fucked up. You
Yeah.
would want, yeah, it would make sense to do like extra games in Texas now as a show of
Yeah.
like solidarity or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a question I want to ask. This is a totally different topic, but I was thinking about it before. What is the year, like how old would you say is the beginning of, okay, now you're middle-aged?
I think we're getting like younger as a society. Like ages are getting like an older age still feels younger. Like 50 when I guess it's also my perspective too. When I was younger, 50 would be like, oh, that's old as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm getting older, I'm like, 50's not that old. I think, to answer your question, probably middle-aged.
Yeah, when would you say, oh, so now I'm in my middle ages because I just turned fill in the blank?
Like 37 to 42 range.
Okay, so you're more
You think
lenient
younger
than
or
me.
older?
I think younger.
Really?
I think 30. I think once you hit 30, it's like, oh, now you're middle aged. And here's my reasoning. If you die when you're 59, people be like, what? He was how old? 59? Damn, that's young. If you say he died when he was 60, people be like,
Yeah.
I guess. Like sometimes that happens, sure, 60, why not? Like it happens from time to time. Like that's not crazy. If somebody dies when they're 59, that shit's a little crazy. Like damn, that's young. Somebody dies when they're 60, you go, I mean, I feel sorry for them, but you know what I'm saying? So like 30 feels like, oh, that's half of 60. That's the big. And also when I'm a kid, if I hear somebody's like, oh, this person's 30 years old, it's like, oh, that is a grown ass person.
Yeah, but if someone died at 30, I don't think like the news report would be like a middle-aged man. They'd report that as like
a young man. They'd say a young man.
Young man. Yeah.
But I still think it's fair to say that person's middle-aged. Like once you hit 30,
that's too young.
You do?
Yeah. Because you still haven't done shit at 30. Like 30, you're still figuring it out.
Yeah, but here's the problem. When people are 45, they're still going to feel that way. Everybody feels that way. Everybody always feels like they haven't done shit.
Yeah,
you talk to anybody. You even fucking talk to Tiger Woods. He's like, I don't have Jack Nicklaus's 18 majors. I haven't done shit yet. Like, people don't feel like they've ever done shit. Like, you know what being an adult is? It's being a kid in a grown body. That's what being an adult is.
Yeah.
Because we all feel like kids still.
I just thought about that earlier when I was taking a nap. And I was like, this is some shit like a kid would do. I'm just older taking a nap.
Yeah. You're a kid in an adult body.
Yeah.
Nobody hits an age and they go, that's it. I got all the wisdom I thought I would get when I'm older. Like, I got it now. Yeah. Like, no, we're all just fucking taking swings in the dark trying to figure shit out.
I don't know. 30's young. 37 through 40. What did I say? 42? Because 50 to me is still old. But now, people, like I said, people are...
See, that's funny because...
Older people are younger.
No, but see, that's funny because you, like, just described 50 as old. I wouldn't describe 50 as old. I describe 30 as old. I describe 30 as middle age, and I describe 50 as middle age, too. Like, I feel like...
50, you're starting to get... No, you're not getting knee replacements and shit at 50.
You can. I mean, it all depends on how you take care of yourself and stuff, but, like, I think... So you call 50 old, I don't call 50 old. I still call 50 middle age. But I call 30 middle age, and you don't call 30 middle age. You see what I'm saying? So, like, my bar for... I have a wide area there that's middle age. Like, when I would say... What's a kid? Like, when you say, oh, that's that kid. Kid is probably up until 20, and then 20 to 30 is probably, like, young man. And then 30 to 50 is, like, middle-aged.
I think you could still get kid at 28, 29, because I get that, you know. If it's an older guy who's like 58,
kid. That's a grown.
He's like, oh, you're still a kid.
You still dude. That's a grown dude, though. Like at 28, that's a grown dude. Like You could do everything. You can legally do everything, and not only can you legally do everything, you've been able to do it for 7 fucking years already. Like that's a grown
Except renting
dude.
a car. Isn't renting a car like something OD, like 26 or 24 or
Really?
something?
Is it?
Yeah, to rent a car, you got to be like at least 25, I think it is.
I never knew that. That's
Which
great.
I don't understand that rule, but yeah, it's like something like
I never knew that.
you're like, why would that be 25?
Probably because they had mad 21-year-old dudes just like crashing and getting blown and doing coke off the seats and shit.
Yeah, it's very true.
I like how we're trying to figure out the rules. What are the rules? What's old?
You talk to old people now, and they're a good old person will say, I'm still like I learn from kids every day. They're like still evolving. Even like an old ass person is still trying to figure new shit out, and they're learning it from kids.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So they're still rolling with the times and open to stuff and learning, and
yeah.
Whereas when the mentality is somebody who's old, but I can, on the one hand, I can sort of fuck with somebody who's old because it's like they hit a point where they're just like, fuck you, like I've made my mind up, fuck you.
But that's the worst way to look at it.
No, but there's like something liberating about that old man who's got no time for anybody's bullshit. And it's like, Grandpa Ken, do you want to go to the dance recital of the... No.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch Matlock. Now go get me a sandwich. There's something about that that's like liberating.
Yeah, I guess
when you
it's
have
good to...
0 fucks left and you're like, I'm not going to fucking play around with society anymore. Fuck that shit.
That's how like my grandma is. I mean, like I feel like grandmas get away with that. Like they could be at a restaurant and say some OD shit that if I said it, people would be like, oh. Whereas like my grandma can be like, excuse me, like miss, come here. And like sit and then just fucking say some OD shit where I'm like, yo, you cannot say that anymore. Whereas like when they were living, they could say that shit,
Yeah, at a certain
whether
age,
it's like
at a
some
certain
OD
age.
racist shit like that, like if someone said now.
That's fucked up.
Not like some OD racist shit. My grandma's not racist, but like even if it was like like I don't know, like an Asian woman or something like that, and just said some fucked up shit, and I'm just like, you can't say that out loud. Like she's right there. It's like, oh, she doesn't care. She doesn't care. Like no,
because at a certain point, people will be like, "Oh, they're just old." Like like they'll give you that excuse. They'll give you that benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, did you hear what Grandpa said? It's like, yeah, but he's just old. Like he can
It's
get
like
away with it.
He could get away with it, but he's saying something that
we can't say. Yeah,
we can't say, and we would figure out a nicer way to say it.
Right. Because we still got so many years to be in society. You can't start pissing people off when you're like 25 or some shit.
It's crazy how people like they just rationalize that, and it's like, oh, this person is probably gonna die soon. Let's just let them
basically
say what they want to say.
They've been around a really long time, and they're gonna die soon, so they can do whatever they want. I mean, think about it. When people hit a certain age, like when you hit a certain age, let's say you're like 80, okay? Mm-hmm. You're at the point where you can go to the doctor, and they'll give you anything you want. You'd be like, doctor, I'm in pain. They're like, you want Vicodin? Like, yeah, let me get 8 bottles of it. Doctor, I'm feeling a little anxious. You want Xanax? Yeah, let me get 8 bottles of that. Hey doc, I'm feeling a little ADHD-ish. You want Adderall? Yeah, give me some of that. You can just get pharmaceutical up when you're 80 years old. You go to the doctor, say, I got a hangnail. They're like, we'll give you morphine. Okay, I'll take that shit.
It's also weird on that spectrum too, where there's a certain age on the kid level where you could sort of be OD for a little bit and not get in trouble, like grab girl's breast or grab a girl's ass, and like it's just like, oh, he's cute. Yeah,
you hit a certain. Yeah, that's right, and you could like
what is that? That's probably from like 7 to like 12, maybe. You could grab your babysitter's like tits, and she'll be like, oh, stop it! Oh
my God, that's so sweet. They're so cute. Look at them.
Or is you're like 87 through 91, you could probably grab your babysitter's ass and still be okay with
it. You can't. You lose the sexual like thing, because you know what it is?
No, grandpas are the creepiest motherfuckers. They don't lose any sexual.
No. I'm saying you lose that being socially acceptable. You can't, like when you're a kid and you do it, the reason why they think it's cute is because the kid doesn't know what the fuck they're doing.
But they do know.
If a kid is grabbing some titties, it's not like he's thinking, I can't wait to hit it with this bitch. He's thinking like, ooh, soft and feels nice when they're too young to know sex. But when it's a grandpa, you know he's thinking some dirty shit.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's why it's okay for the kid to get away
But
with
then
it.
it's on that spectrum again where it's just like, this motherfucker's about to die anyway. I'll let him grab some titty.
Nah, that I don't think that's the one thing grandpas can't get away with, just grabbing fucking titties and shit. But you made me think of something. Like when you're kids, before you ever go to school, like think about the freedom you had, like when you were a kid before you had to go to school the first time. Where like every day was like you just pretty much did whatever you fucking wanted.
Yeah.
And then, but you're too young to like realize like, oh, this is literally the most freedom I will ever have.
Yeah.
It's like we're zero responsibilities.
Except for college. College is just unreal time.
You feel like you were more free in college than that?
Yeah.
Really?
Because you were able to do stuff like drink and girls and all this stuff.
But you didn't,
and
you didn't feel like you had any, like I did, even though I generally did, I wasn't like over focused on grades and stuff. I cared enough where I was like, that was always weighing on my mind.
But college is not, to me, college is not about the fucking schooling part. It's just 4 years of your life where you just wild out. It's unreal. And I've always said this. There should be another 4 years of your life, like when you're older and more sophisticated, where you have the same freedom as college, like an adult college. Does that make sense in any sense? Like you just have another 4 years. I mean, people get married and stuff like that, but if you're not, you can go to like some other shit where you just go away for 4 years and like wild out like you did in college.
I think you, your perception of the college experience is a little different from mine because first of all, you went away to college. I did not go away to college. So that's number one. Number two, I cared enough about the grades where that was always on the back of my mind, so I didn't feel like I was that free. Whereas you seemed like you were like, fuck all that shit. And you were balls to the wall with whatever the fuck you wanted to do.
No, I mean, I obviously cared about school a little bit. I mean, like, I wasn't, like, studying like crazy, but, like...
But then you did... But how did you feel free when you had to deal with that shit? Like, because I never felt free because I was like, I gotta do that fucking assignment.
Yeah, no, I never thought like that. Like, my mentality was just like, all right, it's Tuesday, it's wing night. You know, like, Wednesday, all right, it's beer pong night. Yeah. Oh, shit, I got class early in the morning.
And you would just go through class half
school,
asleep.
Yeah, school was just the background shit. It was just the wallpaper that, like, you know, like I fucking... Okay. It was there.
Anybody who's listening to this who's, like, studying to become a fucking doctor or a lawyer or anything, they're like, fuck you, Corin. Fuck you. Because they're thinking, I bust my fucking ass at school. People getting student loan debt and shit.
Everyone's cheating at school. Like, I used to have the answers in my water bottle and fucking, like...
In college?
Yeah, people fucking take index cards. I was talking to someone about this, and they were like, yeah, for my final, we had index cards. I wore a baggy... it was a girl. She was like, I wore a baggy hoodie, and in the little pouch thing, I had index cards, and we would just take them out and, like, look at it real quick. There's ways to, like, that old school, like, I mean... I'm just fucking stereotyping, but like at old school, go home and study in your textbook shit. No one's doing that anymore. When mad people are doing that.
So I wasn't great, but you make me feel like a nerd with everything you're describing. Because when I was, the only cheating I've done, okay, first of all, it was in like high school, and it was in high school on topics I didn't care about, knew I wasn't ever going to pursue, and the only kind of cheating I would do was the old school shit of, like, peeking over at somebody's shit.
Yeah.
That's the only time I'd ever do it. In college, I didn't do it at all, because college, it was political science, and I actually kind of like political science.
Yeah, I guess if you like it. I mean, so you would go home, and like, they would be like, read.
No, so here's the other part of it. So, in high school, I did not give a No, I almost hit that note kind of well.
Yeah, you did.
That was impressive. I impressed myself. In high school, I didn't care, but I still somehow managed to get by with like B grades, B plus. I don't remember what my average was when I graduated, but I guess around like 85, and we're between 80 and 85, which is like, okay, if you're not If you really don't
it's
care, it's like, okay, not
respectable.
bad. Not bad at all. Because I felt like school was too confining, and they were making me pursue topics I wasn't interested in. If I cared about something, I'm going to work hard and I'm going to get it right and stuff, but it was too confining, and so I was like, whatever, let me just get through this and do as little as possible. That was high school. In college, I actually cared about it, and I liked it, but I was able to learn about the shit in the classroom without feeling too I didn't have to go home and read a chapter. Like, maybe I would go home and like just look over some stuff quickly, but I never like sat down, oh, let me read this chapter to get it. You know what I'm saying?
So would you sort of just watch what was going on in the news or something like that, and sort of semi-related to what was going on in your class?
Yeah,
you guys
you
are probably
just
talking about more current eventsy type of shit too,
in
right?
some classes, yeah, it was more current event stuff, and that stuff I was always up on. I've always followed the news pretty closely.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, to this day, I follow it super closely. So I was nothing that I didn't even view as work. It's like, oh, I just generally know what's going on. Okay, I got that. But in terms of the classes that weren't like that, no, I just kind of picked up most of it in class, and then if I ever needed to, like, you know, just look over some stuff real quick, I'd do that. But I was able to, and I did better in college. I probably had, you know, an A average or something in college, and that was because I cared enough about the stuff where I can absorb it when I care about it, you know?
Yeah,
so I didn't need to go home and force myself to read a chapter and learn a chapter.
I can
And
see
also,
that.
for what political science, got to keep it real. When you're learning about political science, it is easier to learn about political science than people who are studying to become a doctor, somebody who's studying to become a fucking lawyer, somebody who's studying to do something where you have to sit down and read through some shit, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. If you're becoming a doctor, you need to know about the body and body parts and
the
what
amount of
connects
studying they have to
bones.
do is ungodly. I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to do that kind of studying.
Yeah, that shit is tough. I had a friend who became an eye doctor, and like just the amount of shit that is in your eyes and veins and this and that connects to this and the cornea and the fucking back of this shit.
Yeah.
You need to know that shit because you're actually going to be doing something. Whereas if you're going into the business world, you're just fucking bullshitting with people. You got to just know how to respond to an email.
That's a good point. So business majors. That's a good point, man. Business majors. That's probably on one end of the spectrum where it's like
it's almost good you know how to cheat and do it in a creative way because you're going to fucking have to do it that way in real life.
Business majors get the highest paying jobs with the easiest major. You know, it's funny because a lot of people shit on liberal arts majors, and part of that makes sense. But the even bigger bullshit degree is the business one. Mm-hmm. Because a business degree is like the most, I mean, they teach you the most banal, obvious shit for a business degree, and the people get out of there and they make good money. But then again, maybe I'm biased because of I live in New York and people around me who had a business degree made a lot of money because then they would go and fucking work for giant, you know, corporations in the city and shit.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest one of like, don't work that hard, have the exact experience you were describing at school, and then
Thanks.
But you didn't do a business major though.
No, but I did sport management, which is practically the same shit. It's
no,
just like,
it's not because it's more specific. Number one, and number two,
Yeah,
you're
which
literally using it. You're using it.
yeah.
And you've used it throughout since you fucking graduated. You work for the Knicks for a certain amount of time.
Yeah. It is true. It's just the whole studying shit I never got behind. I remember in my first college.
I like that
Well, it
sentence.
started in like high school. I was talking about how I took I think it was the social studies Regents, and they used to have just whoever proctor these tests, and we had a gym teacher proctoring the test, and I was shook because I didn't study. I was like, I'm gonna just try and cheat on this shit. The dude came into the class. I was like, I hope he's not on it, like looking, watching, and they have to sit there for 2 hours. So if picture you're a gym teacher and it's high school, and they're like, you gotta fucking monitor the Regents. For me, I would just be like, fuck, okay, I'm just gonna go
and not do shit. Just
This dude came in and put a fucking big ass newspaper right in front of his face, and I was like, let's go. So I had my face in like someone else's test, the whole shit. I think I got like an 87 or something like that.
The worst feeling ever is that feeling when you don't know anything about the test you're about to take.
Oh my god.
And I've had that before.
Like math tests and statistics.
I was just about to say
whatever.
math. For me, okay, imagine a second grader trying to do calculus. That's me with math.
Yeah.
I'm like the dumbest motherfucker on the planet when it comes to math. And so it didn't even
Get,
if
like, cold
I did
sweats.
study and bust my fucking ass to try to figure it out, couldn't get it.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it.
And they used
It's
to have
just the
that
saddest
Texas
thing ever.
Instruments fucking calculator. You'd see kids like hacking away at that shit, and I'll just be like,
The thing that would always get me for math tests, yeah, exactly. The thing that would get me for math tests, show your
You're like
work. When they say show your
Oh.
work, I was like, I can't.
yeah,
I don't know any of this shit.
that shit sucked. Yeah, the show the work part, and I'll just be like, why? The answer's there.
Because they know your ass is gonna cheat and not show
know.
that shit. That's why.
My first college, and I feel like an idiot admitting this shit. I'm actually pretty bright if you were to talk to me just on like street smart shit. But the first college I went to, it was a joke. So I was in an economics class. I still don't, to this day, don't remember which it was, if it was micro or macro, but because the teacher taught both. So micro's what, on a smaller scale, and macro's on a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm.
The whole year I took the class, we had tests throughout the class, this and that. At the end of the year, she combined all of her finals. She was like, okay, micro on this side, macro on this side. Just walk in, take your final, and then leave. Like, you're done for the year. Son, tell me how I went into the wrong final, took the whole shit. She wrote back to me and was like, Corin, you took whatever X, like macro or micro. And I was like, oh, about that.
Oh my god.
She was mad cool. It was such a cool school. And she was like, yeah, I'll just let you take the other one now. And I think I still bombed that shit.
Oh my god.
But she sent me the email, and my first reaction was just like, damn, she probably thinks I'm really dumb.
Yes, she does. So you didn't notice anything on that exam, or it was close enough where you're like, eh.
It was close enough. It's
Yeah.
the same shit, micro and macro. Fuck it. Like, it's both economics.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I thought when you said she's mad cool, I thought you were gonna be like, and she let me not take the other one and still gave me a grade on the one I took or some shit.
No, she made me take the other thing, but I think I don't know what I got. It wasn't good.
Oh my god, that's so.
But that's why
we've admitted too much here. We've admitted too much.
Well, I have.
That's a good story. No, I was saying too. When I was younger, when I didn't care about a class, and I knew I wasn't gonna ever pursue it. Yeah, I'd peek over. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? What am I gonna take a principled stand on fucking on some math class that I know I'll never use?
Some teachers are too strict about it. Like, what ultimately, what? Because I fucking looked at someone else's paper and got a little bit of help. You should be able to ask the teacher, like, hey, can you give me a little bit of help on this question? Like, why can't?
Can you give me the answer?
Why do I have to know everything? Because at some point when I'm older, I'll be able to Google it. Like, we were in high school when Google was around.
Oh my god.
You should be allowed to ask for help on a fucking test.
Okay, I just think you gotta redo the way school is done. Like,
Too.
I think you should have people learn the basics. Like, yes, you have to have some math classes. People gotta know how to do basic shit. But I don't know to what extent I would teach it. Like, how far does it have to go? And then also, there probably should be some of those practical classes of, like, budget management and shit, how you budget your own money. And there should also be, I don't know, they do it differently in, like, different places, and they have better results for their kids. Like, the standardized testing, apparently that's, like, doesn't fucking do well. Like, doesn't turn out well for the kids and stuff. So, I don't know, there's a better way to do schooling, but you have to mix, like, yes, teaching people what they have to fucking know with also kind of cultivating their tastes and, letting them almost pursue their own thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because that's what people end up doing anyway, and it's just a matter of how can school be beneficial and work hand in hand with that, or is it going to be something that's, like, opposed to it? You know what I mean? You don't want to have a school system set up where you're having people do these things that are like menial and nonsensical and a distraction from the thing that they will end up doing. You know what I mean? Like, you want to have something that's both educational, informational, genuinely enlightening of them, but then also it's something that cultivates their own individuality and what they want to do for a living.
Yeah, that's why the BOCES thing used to be cool, but everybody would look at those kids like they were like
isn't that
a
crazy?
little like special ed or something like that. They'd be like, he leaves at 11 o'clock to go work on cars.
Yeah, and it's like, well, he's doing a trade school, which is actually, that motherfucker's going to end up making a decent amount of money and have a particular
being like a crazy
set.
mechanic.
Yeah. And everybody else is looking like, ooh, like, no, why would we do that?
They had that for, I'm going to sneeze, but probably not now. Nope, I will.
Let it out, bro.
Oh, man, I'm fucking dying over here.
It's the mold.
Okay, better. I usually sneeze like 7 times in a row.
You do, yeah. You're known for that. I've seen it.
My fucking eyes are itching. It's all because I smelled like one T-shirt.
Yeah. You were talking about BOCES, and then you were going to say something.
Yeah, I mean, like, we would make fun of those kids, but that was actually a pretty cool concept where you can go do something you genuinely liked. The only thing I didn't like about it is you had to choose, I think, one thing. So it's like if I was going to choose culinary for the whole year, I got to do culinary. You know, like, you can't figure out what you do, like, and what you don't.
You can't test the waters with, like, a bunch of
be like 2 weeks culinary, maybe if you want to do 2 weeks at a barber school or something like that. Yeah. The fact that you had to choose one thing and stick with that sort of, handcuffs you a little bit.
That's true. But I think in Germany they'd have that. They have like a lot of those, I don't know if it's like apprenticeship programs or whatever the specific terminology is, but it's similar to that. It's similar to that, where it's like, people pick a trade and then kind of work hard at that. That's a good idea, I feel like it'd be, because there are a lot of people who, when they're done with school, they're like, what now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what now? And that's a tough spot to be in. You're guided every step of the way, and then when you're out, it's like, okay, go.
It's a tough spot to
What's next?
You graduate when you're what, 23, 24? Or is it older than that?
Wait, let me do the math. So I graduated college in 2010.
2010, yeah.
And now it's 2017. I'm 29 now, so yeah, 22. Right?
That's too fucking young to now go tell somebody, all right, you're on your own, like, go figure it out. I mean, I've been in that position. I know people in that position now. It's fucking tough. It's too young to fucking expect somebody to, like, really choose what they want to do, And, like...
Well, and it's also the fact that you have the training wheels on all those years, but then the training wheels are not like... It doesn't lead to... They don't give you the bike at the end of the training wheels.
Mm-hmm,
so they give you the training wheels, and then they take away the fucking training wheels, and they take away the bike, and they're like, go. It's like, but wait, I had the bike and the training wheels. I thought maybe you were just going to take off the training wheels. Like, no, we took the bike too.
Yeah.
Well, then what the fuck was all that for?
Yeah.
So you have...
And we took $1,000, like, a fucking $100,000 from you. Like,
student loan debt.
Like, like, you're dead broke, and you have no way to get
You're
to
less than
fucking
broke.
work.
You're less than broke. You're not at zero, bitch. You're at negative 100,000.
The fucking system, man. It's fucking crazy.
So, but yeah, that's why, it's interesting because that's why a lot of people, they don't do some liberal arts degree or some business degree. A lot of people will do, I'm going to become a lawyer. I'm going to become a doctor. I'm going to become fill in the blank with some shit where they have to go get an extra schooling. But that's another gargantuan amount of money.
Yeah, that's even worse because you're even in more debt. And you'll make a good amount of money when you graduate.
But you're going to when you're 38 is when you're going to actually start making money.
That shit is fucking wild.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they got to retool the system. I would have free college.
Fuck that school. Just get by like me. Put your answers on the inside of a fucking water bottle. Print that shit out on like a size 10 font.
That's actually low-key genius, come to think of it.
Yeah, you put that shit there, and then when the teacher comes by, you're just like...
You were never knocked for it, right?
Fuck. Mm-mm. Never got knocked.
Damn.
What did I mean, occasionally the teacher would look at you when you're looking at someone else's paper or some shit, and you got to hit him with like the meme, like,
Oh, everybody's been there.
Oh, fuck. And they're
Everybody's
like,
been there.
come on, you're not actually thinking that hard for the fucking, you know?
You're like looking and then you're like...
Yeah. You look up into the air, you're like, what's the answer to those shit? And they're like, come on.
So
I used to be scared shitless when I was younger because they made you get your test signed by your parents.
Oh.
You remember, did you ever have to do that?
No.
Like, oh, you never had to get test signed? Oh, so you must have been getting over
no, I
at
did a
least,
few
like
times.
65s.
No, there were... No, I never... I was always getting, like, B's and shit. Even when I didn't give a fuck in high school and shit. I was a model student until high school. So all the way, even through middle school, I was A's. Because I was a good little polite boy. Was always listening to those in power.
Yeah.
And then I hit high school and I'm like, this is bullshit. And I stopped caring, but I still got by with B's and stuff.
I feel like even up to high school, like, I don't know if that was just a New York thing but like I always had to go to my parents and have them sign the test.
No, some when you said I had to think about it, but there's a few classes I did. It wasn't a lot of them, but it was some I had to get my parents to sign it.
Yeah.
Not in high school though, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe not in. I feel like even in high school, I still had to get them to sign that shit too.
Well, we had some of the same classes in high school.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like I'd still no. I don't think high school I had to.
Yeah,
I'm thinking
I don't think so
early high school, like 9th grade, maybe still.
Do you ever get the? I told you I have a recurring back in school nightmare. Do you get that or no? Do you ever have nightmares about going back to school?
No, I'd fucking love to go back to school.
I'm the opposite, man. I don't want to go back.
High school specifically?
High school or college. I don't want to go back to school, period.
Oh, man, if I can go back to college. You're not one of those kids that's just like, I look at a college kid and I'm just like, when I talk to him, like, yo, like, just embrace that shit, man. Like,
do you think that's the time?
Well, yeah, me and you are different. Like, I feel like going away to school is different than staying home for school, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know. It gave me anxiety, man, to think back and think, like, I've had the dream where, like, I'm back in college and I'm walking around and, like, in my head, I'm like, sleeping Kyle has enough wherewithal where my conscious mind is trying to kick in and it's like, you are not in school anymore. You graduated. And then I would always rationalize it in the dream, like, yeah, I graduated. That's true, but I have one more year left. Like, that doesn't make any sense. What the fuck does that even mean? But, like, that's the dream world. The dream world would override, like, the conscious mind that's trying to kick in and say, don't worry, this is just a bad dream or whatever. And then I was, like, walking around on campus, and I was like, you know what it was? I couldn't find my sheet. Like, it was the beginning of the semester or something. I couldn't find my sheet that had all the classes I had to go to and shit.
Oh.
And I was like, fuck, I don't know. Am I late for this shit? Where's my thing? And then, like, another one that would happen is I'd go to one class, and then I would have that. Remember, like, in high school, there were some classes that you could, like, skip on the regular, and it was totally, like, whatever. But, like, there were other ones that you couldn't skip, but I didn't like, so I started skipping them, and then I would have to drop the class, but you have to drop it before a certain time period. And if you don't drop it in a decent amount of time, then you're stuck with that shit, and if you skipped it nonstop, you'll just fail that shit. Yeah. And in my dream, I would have these recurring dreams.
I think I do have this dream you're explaining right now where
I would have these dreams where I'd get out of a class, and then I would miss a class and be like, fuck, I don't even remember what class I have after this class. And then it would become like me thinking, I got to drop that class that I'm skipping right now, but I don't know if I could still drop it because I might be past the time frame where I could drop it. And then, damn, I lost my sheet. I don't know where the next class is after that I have to go to. And I was just like a mess.
Yeah.
And that's me in the dream, and I'm like fucking having anxiety and shit, and I'm like, I don't like any of this. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm not in school anymore. I fucking.
And then your mom's like, Kyle, go to school.
I'm like, okay, ma'am. Do you have my peanut butter and jelly sandwich? I ate a Lunchables the other day, son. I ate a Lunchables pizza.
The pizza kind?
Yeah.
I was going to say, because I used to have they had the ham and cheese one I used to eat, and I don't even fucking like ham and cheese.
Nah, I like the Lunchables pizza, though.
Yeah, that thing was so nasty. You remember, like, the circular turkey ones?
Gross.
Ugh. How was the pizza one?
What?
How was the pizza one?
Awesome. Fucking amazing.
It was good?
Oh, amazing.
You know,
I'd buy more of them if I didn't feel like a little boy as I did it.
You fucking spread the tomato sauce out on it, right?
Yeah. And as I was paying for it, I was thinking in my head like,
Isn't it all
this
cold?
cashier definitely, yeah, but it's still banging. I was thinking this cashier definitely thinks I'm buying this for like
Your
my
son or
little
something?
kid. Yeah. It's like, no, I'm about to go eat this right now.
People out here don't know. Do you know what peanut chews are?
Of course.
That's what I'm saying. People in Illinois have never heard of peanut chews.
Well, let me ask you this: what grocery stores do you have in Illinois? Do you have the same ones that we have here? You have different ones, probably.
No. What do you think of when you think of grocery store? Pathmark?
I don't really
A&P?
think of Pathmark. I think of Acme.
Or Stop and Shop?
I think of Stop and Shop. I think
We
of
don't have
Old School
Stop and
Food
Shop ever.
Emporium, but that shit's out of business. I think of A&P, but that shit's out of business.
Yeah. I actually saw they're building 24-hour fitness at the A&P on Central Avenue by the old car dealership.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's fucking humongous, which I don't get. It's
Yeah,
too
that's
much working
crazy.
out. It's too
That
much working
is,
out
it's
for
too
one
much.
place.
But Stop and Shop is probably the first one that comes to mind for me when I think of
Right.
What do you have there?
Jewel Osco is the biggest one.
What's it
And
called?
Jewel Osco.
Never heard of that shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You've probably never heard of that shit.
Never heard of it. What
Jewel
else?
Osco's.
You have Winco?
Mariano's. I love Mariano's.
What's that like?
It's sort of fancier,
like a
but
Trader
it's cheap
Joe's
as
type
shit.
shit?
No,
No?
not like a Trader Joe's. But they do this thing where they cook your meat for you. So you can buy like 10 burgers.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. They cook your meat for you. And they cook it on the grill for you, no extra charge. I love it. It's so good.
That sounds awesome. I never heard of that place either. What else? Do you have Winco or no?
No, what the fuck is Winco?
Winco's on the West Coast, I think.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say. New York City has Fairway,
Fairway, I think I've heard of. Well, I'm in New York, so I would.
and they have in upstate New York they have this thing called Wegmans.
I've heard of Wegmans.
Wegmans is big in upstate New York.
Yeah,
Grocery store is a weird chain. There's no
yeah, there are some
Piggly
that are,
Wiggly. I think is a supermarket in like the South or some shit, or that could just be maybe like a little like a smaller convenience store type of thing.
okay. And what other ones are by you? I haven't heard of either of the two you just mentioned.
People shop at Walmart.
Well, Walmart's everywhere.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of that. Wahoo? What's that?
What else is a supermarket out by us? I don't know out by me, but when I went to college, there's a spot called Price Chopper.
Never heard of that shit.
Yeah,
There's very few that are
Jewel
totally.
Osco's probably the biggest one.
Which is?
Jewel Osco.
Okay. Costco. Are there Costco's over there? Because Costco's
yeah.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Costco, but that shit you gotta have the membership to and all that.
Yeah, but they got the best prices, and they treat their workers nice. And
Do
you
they?
get shit in bulk. Yeah, they pay their workers a living wage and give them good benefits and shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're just like a good company. Yeah,
That's
Costco's
like,
good. Costco's great. Like the opposite
Starbucks
of Walmart.
is good like that, right?
I don't know. I have no idea about Starbucks.
Yeah, supposedly they
But,
fucking
like,
pay the employees well and all.
Walmart and Sam's Club is like the equivalent of Costco that Walmart has. Walmart has Sam's Club, and Sam's Club is fucking. They treat their workers like shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, I didn't know that there was that big of like a drastic difference between. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew Sam's Club and the other one were like the same.
Yeah, Costco and Sam's Club are like the
Yeah,
same,
the
but
same
Sam's
shit.
Club they treat their people like shit, and Costco pays them well.
Did you watch the McGregor fight?
Oh, yes, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Did you see it?
Yeah.
So what'd you think?
I enjoyed it, and then I spoke to my stepbrother afterwards, and he sort of opened up my eyes a little bit. He was like, "I think Mayweather was going 50% the whole time. He doesn't think Mayweather was going."
Damn, that thought never occurred to me, but that's an interesting thought.
He's so smart, you know.
Well, what
There's-
he did like a version of rope-a-dope. Like he let McGregor go all out in the first 2 rounds, and then he gassed out.
Yeah. Well, that and there was certain points in like round 6 where Mayweather was going at him a little bit. You know, if Mayweather wanted to just start going at him, it wouldn't have been a fucking competition, dude. It was like, I don't know if I heard someone say this. It was like putting Usain Bolt in a pool with fucking Michael Phelps and just saying like, go race him.
Well, that's
You're putting someone who has no experience
yeah.
with the greatest of all time, arguably.
That was my not so expert analysis. I tweeted before the fight. I said I think Mayweather's going to win, but if it was MMA, Conor McGregor would win.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Mayweather's
Conor
a little
McGregor
twig.
is fighting Mayweather in his sport. It's not like, but that being said, I mean, credit to Conor McGregor because it's not like he fought a bad fight.
It's not even.
I give him credit. He was a tough son of a bitch, man. I really do think so. And yet, look, maybe
What are you judging it on? I mean, like any other boxer.
he won the first 2 rounds. That's what I'm judging it on. That's what it looked like to me.
But we're lowering our bar because he's not a boxer.
No,
Any other boxer could hold their own against Mayweather. Like Pacquiao went the distance with him.
Almost everybody goes the distance with Mayweather. Mayweather always wins in decisions. He doesn't win in knockouts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But at least Pacquiao didn't get tired and like he's a boxer.
Yeah. Well, so here's what happened with me. I didn't order the fight. I was watching it on Periscope. Somebody was illegally streaming it. And I got the first 3 rounds, and then my feed, they took it down from Periscope. And then
Did they name it McGregor-Mayweather fight?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, was the problem. But then I went and I watched a live stream of these dudes who were talking about the fight, and they were describing what was happening. So then after that, the next day I watched the full fight on YouTube. And so to me, what it looked like is the first 2 rounds or maybe 3 rounds, McGregor looked like he was fighting a good fight and looked like he was winning the rounds. But then after that is when he gassed out, and then Floyd just ran circles around him and outboxed the fuck out of him. But no, I genuinely thought, and granted, I'm not like a boxing expert or anything, but I just enjoyed the fight and I thought it was a good fight. I actually thought oh, this is entertaining to watch.
Exactly. And I thought the same thing. Like, I didn't pay for it, but if I had paid for it, I would have been like, okay, this was because I paid for the Pacquiao one versus Mayweather, and that shit was terrible. It was Mayweather doing what Mayweather does, which is ducking and dodging and just avoiding hits and winning.
Pacquiao
in
was
that
old
way.
by that point, too.
He was
right?
old. Yeah, they didn't fight at the right time, and also it came out later he had a separated shoulder or some shit like that.
That might have been their excuse.
It was, but I think they even tested him and ran tests and something was separated or some shit. And he was. So who knows? But it was a boring fight. I think after hearing what my stepbrother said that he was going only 50%, sort of evened it out a little bit. It made it more exciting, and he kept going at McGregor a little bit as opposed to that, ducking and dodging shit, which is boring. He wanted to give the fans his last fight something that was a little exciting.
So I think it's he's undoubtedly one of the best ever, Mayweather. Whatever you think of him as a person, because he's a douchebag in real life, but he's one of the best ever. I mean,
yeah. Well, do you think? I think the ref stopped it a little bit early, the fight, because one, McGregor is a fucking UFC fighter. This dude gets beat for a living. He didn't even get connected with a hit before the ref came in and stopped it. And now they're saying, he was protecting him.
Mayweather was pelting him.
He was going at him.
I mean, he was out on his feet a little bit, I think, and he was just kind of unconsciously acting. I don't know. I think it was a fine stoppage.
Yeah.
I mean, he just would have been Mayweather's punching bag the rest of the fucking time.
Probably, yeah.
But he's a tough guy, though, McGregor. He was fucking tough. Eating him. He was out probably on his feet, but he was eating him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it went as I thought it was going to go because that's what he does, Floyd Mayweather. He's a boxer, man. He's not a fucking... Mike Tyson before the fight was Mayweather's going to win, no doubt about it. And it's anybody who knew about boxing... Too. What?
I called the knockout, too. I didn't bet on that.
Oh, you did?
Shit,
okay.
I
didn't. Yeah. I just said I think Mayweather's going to win, but in my head, I was thinking they'll probably go the distance and... Mayweather will do what Mayweather does, which is just fight like a defensive fight. And
Did you see him walk out with the fucking ski mask shit on?
Yeah, every Twitter was fucking ripping him over that.
Oh, where they putting out
Yeah.
memes and shit of him?
Twitter's the best, man. Whatever little fucking thing there is that like you think something about, like well, that's a little weird. Twitter's already got 80,000 tweets on it of people saying some funny shit about it.
Yep. They had a picture of McGregor, I think, getting hit, and I think like there was some snot coming out of his nose. There was a picture.
Oh, I did one when you nut and she keeps sucking, and it was a picture of McGregor like had this face on, like.
I was pissed at Do you ever see the meme of Denzel, like old looking Denzel?
No, what meme is this?
I think it was from a Mayweather fight. He's got a mustache and a Yankees hat on. And he just looks so old, and all the memes are like when your grandpa goes to the fight or something like that. There's all these funny ass memes of Denzel that they make fun of.
You might have to text me that when we're off air here, man.
Because his face is like,
man.
It's some grandpa ass face.
Yeah,
and it's just like don't forget to tell your mom that I saw her or something like that. And they got him.
Denzel, what are you doing, man?
There was a lot of celebrities out though. I thought of Steve Harvey because Steve Harvey was sitting like right there. I think they said his tickets were like
$80,000.
80,000, yeah.
I just made that number up. That's really what it was.
I think it was 80,000 is what I heard.
Can you imagine spending 80 fucking G's to watch a fight? I didn't even get it on fucking pay-per-view. I was like, I'll just stream this shit. I'll just see this shit from somebody streaming it.
I once tried doing that with I think a Knicks game, and I was like getting so mad, but then I was like, I'm watching this shit like relying on this person. It was
really?
like,
you
because they kept moving. Well, because it gets blacked out.
You're in Illinois, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks for you, man. Because I know how much you love it.
Yeah.
But then again, you're gonna skip a lot of heartbreak because you know what's gonna happen every fucking season. Here's what I do: I go into it. This is the season that we're gonna do really well, and then what happens? Literally,
donkey dick.
Like 12 games in or 15 games in, I just don't watch anymore. I'm like, I can't watch anymore. Because what'll happen is we'll start all right. We'll get on a little run. Maybe we're 2 games above 500. And I'm like, okay. I keep watching this shit. Might make the playoffs like this. But then as time goes by, you're 2 games below 500. Then you're 6 games below 500. Then you're one of the worst fucking teams in the league. And then the Knicks decide they're going to trade to get Stephon Marbury back and fucking and play him with fucking the knee brace on or some shit.
Son, I was watching that Big 3 thing I was telling you about.
Oh,
they had
who
the
was
championship.
on it this time?
Kenny Martin's team won the championship.
Oh, really? Who was on his team?
Kenny Martin. It was Al Harrington. You remember him?
Mm-hmm. He was a Knick, and Kenny Martin was.
Rashad McCants.
I don't know who that one is.
There was this guy James White who was on the Knicks. Flight White.
When was he on the Knicks? Back during the Curry years?
No, a couple years ago. He was just like an irrelevant guy on the Knicks.
Super irrelevant.
I'm trying to think of anyone else on the squad that you would know of.
Did AI play another 8 minutes or 8 seconds and then get off the court?
Like stopped playing after week 3 or some shit like that.
They just used him to get people to watch, and then he didn't
100%.
play. I wonder why he doesn't want to play at all.
It was weird because he looked fine. He was
looked
coaching
totally fine.
Teams. Yeah,
he wasn't fat, and being out of the league as long as he has, I sort of expected him to be like fat and shit.
A little something, right?
What about Kobe too? Like you'd expect Kobe might, but he doesn't want to do that shit.
They're saying Paul Pierce maybe can do the next one. If they brought like old school players out,
they brought the real fucking players. Bring fucking Jordan, bring Kobe, bring Allen Iverson, and make them actually play.
Yeah, like if Tracy McGrady got on like a Houston team or something, they started up. They brought back Chauncey Billups, was okay for a little bit. He only played a couple games.
That's
like old school guys, you know, Steve Francis or some shit like that.
You got to bring back the top of the people. Who retired.
They had like washed up guys that were just like.
You had fucking Scalabeep.
yeah, Scalab fucking Breeny.
Yeah. Scalabeep, I said, like the guy from the card club. That's where I got that from.
Yeah Scalabeep. He was talking about the pool hall he used to go to in White Plains, and he was like, he was connecting it to how there's like so many degenerate gamblers that went there.
Who was talking about this?
Rogan.
Oh yeah, he always went to that White Plains pool hall.
Yeah, and he was like, everybody had a nickname, like in the gambling world, and it just made us like it made me think of how when we used to go to the club, they called me Potter because I used to wear my glasses.
That's right. Did they call me anything? No.
I feel like I don't know if it was just Kyle for
I
you,
think it was Kyle. I don't think they called me anything.
but he said when you didn't really have a nickname, they would just add whatever you do to the end of it. So it might have just been like Kyle from the car dealership or something like that. If you're trying to explain it to someone, that's when you got your nickname.
Kyle,
you know?
the car guy, the car sales guy. You ever see him down over there? Literally, all of them were contractually required to have a cigarette hanging out of their mouth whenever they're sitting at the table.
So, but he said one of the guys was, I think Charlie from White Plains, and it made me think of there was a Charlie with white hair who used to wear like a fedora hat. You remember him?
Mm-hmm.
And he had like one long pinky nail.
He wasn't a bad card player. Yeah.
He wasn't bad, but I think he passed away.
When?
No, like back in '88, like a fucking while ago.
I never knew.
Oh, really? What are you gonna like start tearing up?
That guy was nice to me, man. I like that guy.
We had a friend in the hand, or maybe I don't think it was you. It was someone else was playing him, and we didn't have that many chips. We were buying for what, $200 or something like that normally.
For 100 usually.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. But maybe we would we'd get up to like 400 or something like that.
You would.
On a good day, we could break 1,000 or something. Like on a very good day.
Not me. I sucked at cash games, but go ahead. That's what I'm saying. I was so bad.
So whoever had it had like a good amount for the night. Maybe they had like 400, so they were feeling good, and they had a made hand. So they were like,
I remember
this guy had only a couple of chips in front of him. So they're like, I'll put you all in. Or like, I'll bet your whole shit. And he might have had like $200 or something. Right. He reached back and had like 2 fucking full trays of chips.
Oh, yes, I remember
and like put them on and the dude was like, no. You can't just like grab money that's not on the table.
Yes.
And ended up having like some absurd hand and like fucking taking all of
that wasn't me, by the way. That wasn't me. But I think I know who it was.
Oh, but it was the guy Charlie.
Yeah. Jeez, they're bringing back memories. That guy died? I never knew he died.
Yeah. Scalabib, though, was like the most disgusting dude ever.
He couldn't even speak English.
Yeah, he was like a little
old Italian guy who couldn't speak English, but he's been in the country probably since 1970.
Yeah, he was like straight from Italy, right?
Yeah.
Or like had to, or maybe some like
he smells like
Armenian shit. Yeah.
And he smells like feet.
Damn.
Those were the days.
Yeah, but the nicknames were cool. You had a nickname at TP's house. They used to call you
Mississippi. They called me Mississippi because I used to put on. He had this cowboy hat, and I put on this cowboy hat, and I'd fuck with everybody and speak in like an old Southern accent. I'm like, all right now, looks like the betting's on me.
Yep. And you had the sunglasses too. You would rock.
Put the sunglasses on, yeah.
Well, we used to do the same thing with nicknames. When that one dude that we didn't know used to come to your house, we'd just be like, "Oh, that's Paul the lifeguard" or some shit, whatever his name was.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Like we did that with nicknames. When you don't know someone, you just add whatever the hell they
Who
do.
Who the fuck
to
is
that.
that? I was like, that's the lifeguard.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay, yeah. I know who you're talking
the lifeguard,
about.
of course, the lifeguard. That guy, nice guy. I forget his name. What was his first name? Something simple. It was Mad? No, whatever. Irrelevant. But I used to go play. He invited me to play. Dude was like 5 years older. More than that. He was probably 10 years older than me.
Pretty old. Yeah.
Yeah, we were like 17 or some shit. He was probably 27 or some shit.
Yeah.
But he invited me and was it you too that I went with or no? But we
I went to some weird bar to play one time.
No, this wasn't a bar. It was at his house. He had a whole big tournament. So we played the tournament. It was me, my friend, were the little fucking 17-year-olds there, and him and his friends, all older guys. It was like 20 or 30 person tournament. I won. So, but then after I win, like some people leave or whatever, they're like, "Damn, we still want to play." They were saying that. And they were like, do you want to play? And I was like this close to leaving, and I was like, I was just going to leave. Fuck it, I'll play again. I don't give a shit. So I had a whole nother tournament. I won that shit too.
Oh, really?
And then I never got invited back.
They definitely thought you were cheating.
Yeah, they probably did. I mean, to win 2 in a row is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I was good at tournaments. I just sucked at
you were really
cash
good at
games.
tournaments.
I always lost in cash games, always won in tournaments. That was the general rule. Yeah.
We were around some degenerates, but I feel like that was good for us.
Probably not, but it was fun. Like we got. Have we ever told the story on air about the guy Jimmy who he drove us to a place in the city. We thought we were gonna die. I think we told the story on the podcast before, but me and Corin went to the car club, and the car club was only open like 2 nights of the week because that's just the way they do it. It's illegal fucking underground shit. They would do it 2 nights a week or whatever.
Yeah, there'd be like celebrities there. I think like A-Rod went like a day when we weren't
Really?
there. Yeah, A-Rod.
Oh, I never knew that. That's awesome.
Jonathan Vilma.
Like, you're talking about the one in the city.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about not the one in the city.
Oh no, the city.
Because we went to the one that was by us, which was not in the city, but it wasn't open that night. And then they were like,
definitely no celebrities in those shits.
Hell no. And then the dude, this dude named Jimmy, really heavy guy.
He passed away too.
He died?
Yeah.
When? The fuck did these people die?
Back in '88.
How do you know? How do you know that this motherfucker died? How do you even know?
Because he used to do. He used to be a bookie out of the pizza place, like by my house, and I had a friend who used to bet soccer games there, and he knew Jimmy before like even the card spot. And he was like, "Yeah."
You know how he died or no?
Nah, I don't know.
Because it could have been a million things with that guy.
Yeah, It might have been health reasons or some shit. Okay. He was pretty unhealthy.
He was really, really heavy. But anyway, so we had. He was like, "We're gonna go to the city. You want to go to the city and we'll play some cards in the city?" We were like, we looked at each other. We're like, "Fuck it." I mean, it was a stupid idea. We probably had school the next day. Yeah, and we were fucking little ass kids, and so we were like, "Okay,
said yes to whatever.
Let's go to the city."
Sure.
So it was us and then him and one of the other guys from the card place. Me and Corin were in the back seat with our other friend. This motherfucker drove 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour.
It had to be 90. I remember, like, I have a vivid memory of like looking at a speedometer, and the shit was in the 90s, and I was like,
"We might die right now."
It's a little fast.
I thought we might die. On that drive because it was like in a 40. He was going like 90 in a 40. And I remember sitting in the back seat feeling
like going in between people and shit.
And when he hit a turn, it's not like he'd slow down. That motherfucker would go a million miles an hour.
His car was on 2 wheels when he was like fucking turning.
And this motherfucker, literally. By the way, just so everybody knows, stone cold sober. He wasn't drunk. Yeah. He wasn't high. Sober as a motherfucker, but just driving like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of me. And I don't even remember what happened, but I bet we went there and lost money.
I think we did lose that night. I don't get the thrill of like that driving fast, crazy shit. Like how that dude Paul Walker, rest in peace, passed away. Like to me, getting in a fucking Porsche and going really fast and having to turn really fast is just. But I don't get that rush and thrill for a lot of things. You know, I don't like roller coasters. I don't like.
You know how it's funny because black people always make fun of white people because white people always do crazy shit with like wild animals.
Yeah.
Like. Here I am on top of an alligator. Watch me shove my thumb in its bum. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Well, that's the other shit that I feel like is mostly white people do. Like, I'm going to jump out of an airplane. Woo! It's like, no, don't fucking...
Or I'm going to sit on the edge of this cliff just to get an awesome Instagram picture.
Or I'm going to go 1,000 miles an hour in a fucking car.
Yeah.
I am 100% on team... Like, I don't want to move. I just want to sit here and, like, be on a laptop.
Stay grounded. Yeah.
I don't even like fucking flying on a commercial fucking plane.
Yeah, that one's tough, too.
Never mind doing, any of that other crazy shit, driving fast. Come to think of it, man, when we were kids, there were some times where people we knew, or us, we should have got our fucking asses beat for certain things that we did. Like, I remember one time... I got in a car. I won't say the dude's name. I'll tell you when we're off air because I don't want to put him on blast or anything. But this dude was a year older than us, kind of a crazy motherfucker. And when I tell you his name, you'll be like, yes, that motherfucker was crazy. One time I went...
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I bet you do. One time I went with him to go get something to eat or something during like some sort of break I had or whatever. I was skipping some irrelevant class and went to go get like a bagel or some shit. We came back. We were on Webster Avenue. This motherfucker, I am not exaggerating, son. He hit 100 miles an hour.
That's on like a residential street. Like
on a residential street where the speed limit is 30, G.
That's crazy.
30. So I was thinking, like, and as it was happening, I was thinking, what if there's like a grandma who turns on from one of those side streets? Dead.
Yeah.
Dead. I'd be dead. 100%. If there was a grandma, if it was just bad timing and a grandma turned fucking on the thing, you can't see a motherfucker going 100 miles an hour.
No, hell no.
They would just fucking zip right by. So I don't know how. And there were probably multiple situations like that as a kid where I'm going, I was just an idiot. I remember one year.
Yeah, people used to drive. We had a friend who crashed, like, in the car.
Totally.
Doing some dumb shit.
There was a year where it was like New Year's Eve. I thought I was Mr. Tough Guy. I took like 12 shots and threw up everywhere. You know, if I didn't throw up, that would have been alcohol poisoning right there. That could, you know, like there's
people do dumb shit. I mean, you don't realize it in the moment. You know, you're just like, oh,
you're young and you're stupid, and that's my point. Is that like nobody. I don't know if it would have had an effect or not, but I feel like nobody sat me down and kept it 100 with me on certain shit and was like, look, here's the deal, man. You want to drink? Drink. But I'm going to let you know right now, if you're doing hard liquor, you do more than 3 shots, son, and you're putting your life in, you know, like you're risking your life. Or, oh, you want to have a nice car? Here's the deal. Listen, the number one killer of kids, of teenagers, is fast driving. So you want to have a car? Okay, but you want to go above a certain... No, not having that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody kept it real with us like that. Yeah. On some real... Here's the deal. These are the things you're going to face, and this is how you have to be reasonable. I'm not saying you can't be cool. I'm not saying you can't be with the, you know, like do the things like everybody else does. What I am saying is, here's where you draw a fucking red line and say no for this shit. You know what I mean?
You usually have someone you look up to who's either one lying about the shit they do to try and make themselves seem cooler, which you're like, oh, well, fucking Ricky once told me he did 9 shots, and, you know, like, that older person is the bad influence, whereas, like, when these high schools try to do, like, a peer mentor shit, it's usually, like, a goody two-shoes person who doesn't do shit, and you're like, I gotta do the exact opposite of all that.
That's a good point, man. They never hit you with somebody, like, who's gonna keep it real.
Well, because those kids never sign up for those fucking programs. You don't get some kid who's going to parties banging mad chicks. It's like, I want to take a mentor who's a nerdy fucking kid and teach him, you know.
No, but I'm saying that's
how to be responsible.
There wasn't. You're right that there was nobody who was like in the middle, who would, you know, like it was either somebody who's like a goody two shoes who's trying to be like, and you should go to sleep every night at 8:59. Like, there's that guy, and then there's the guy who's like, yeah, bro, I just snorted blow off a hooker's asshole. Woo! It's like, those are the two guys. There's nobody who's like, all right, you could have some drinks, and you could maybe smoke a little bit of weed or something, but I never do this, I never do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
don't figure that out until you're older. Until
it's
you're
trial
about,
and error, but sometimes with trial and error, the error wins, and we just got lucky that the error didn't win. But, you know, whatever, past that now. But it does lead to some interesting fucking stories.
Yeah.
I mean, between the fucking card spot and between all the other fucking shenanigans that we got into.
Yeah.
All right, son. We'll call it a day skis unless you got anything else you want to share with the lovely people.
Well, how do you say that candy bar that comes in the orange packaging and there's 2 of them?
You talking about peanut chews?
No, and it's got the peanut butter and I don't want to say it because I want to hear how you say it.
You said repeat.
Orange wrapper.
100 grand?
Oh, you for orange?
Like 100
wrapper,
grand. 100 grand?
I say Reese's.
Oh, Reese's. Yeah, I say Reese's. Okay. I don't say Reese's.
Reese's.
No, I say because if it's Reese's, then the first E and the second E are the same, but the first one has 2 and the second one only has 1.
So that would make it Reese's.
No, it makes it Reese's because it's not Reesees. It's Reeses. Reese's.
Okay, yeah. So, all right. I better say it.
If it was Reese's, that shit would be Reesees.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Because then it would be even. Reese's.
Yeah.
So I would never back down in that debate. I'd be like, motherfucker, it's Reese's and you're wrong if you say it's Reese's.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
100 grand, bro. That's in a red wrapper.
Is it red?
Yeah.
Red, orange, similar shit. That shit is tasty. Have you ever had 100 grand?
Yeah, I fuck with 100 grand.
That's pretty good, and nobody buys that shit.
But it's old school, yeah, because it's usually on the counters and it's like dusty and shit like that. It's like a fucking. It's one of those candies that you don't pick.
I'm the only motherfucker that picks that.
No,
And
you're
right.
good with that. Like where you'll see that and you'll be like, no, fuck it, I'm getting $100,000. Where other like I'd be like, and there's like 2 left in the box, and those shits look like they came.
They've been
from when
since
the box
'97.
first
Yeah,
came there, like, and that's all
Totally.
they've sold.
yeah.
Or I'll just stick to my staples. I'll grab like a Snickers bar or like
Because that shit was refreshed last week.
yeah, the Snickers are
Yeah.
refreshed. Milky Way doesn't probably get refreshed a lot because that shit's old school.
That shit is good though. Milky Ways. I like Milky Ways.
I don't really fuck with Milky Ways too much.
What? That is fucking blasphemy. Milky Ways are delicious, man.
Twix, I'll always get a
Oh,
Twix.
Twix
bar.
are amazing.
100 on Twix.
Reese's are probably the best though.
Reese's are bang.
They're
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're just ridiculous.
All right, that's all I wanted to know is how you say it because they were like fucking talking about that shit all day at work. I was like, it's fucking Reese's. Stop.
It's 100% Reese's, and you better bring up that point tomorrow to them.
Yeah, that's a good ass point. I'll be
Yeah.
like, it would be double E on both sides if it was Reese's.
Exactly.
All right, bet.
Yeah. All right, guys. We love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.